Welcome to another episode of Between Two Dots, brought to you by Intention Media Corp. This week, we're joined by Jeff Pilon. Jeff Pilon has called Calgary home since 2003 and is a trusted real estate professional specializing in Northwest Calgary. As founder of Syracuse Properties, he focuses on listings, pre-construction marketing, builder partnerships, and investment opportunities. But before real estate, Jeff spent a decade with the Calgary Stampeders, winning 2 Grey Cups, earning Western All-Star honors, and playing with the New York Jets and XFL. Following 17 years in senior leadership and business development, he now combines strategic expertise, market insight, and a competitive mindset to help buyers, sellers, and investors achieve exceptional results in Calgary's evolving real estate market. This was a really fun episode that takes a lot of twists and turns. I really appreciate how real and raw and honest Jeff is, and hopefully you enjoy this interview. Welcome, Jeff. Jeff, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the podcast. It's been some time coming since we met, and I had a little bit of an opportunity to get to know you at my shop, but we're so excited to dive in a little bit deeper into your journey, and you have a ton of stuff that you've gone through. But where are you taking the call from today?
I'm actually at a library in Bowness because
Oh,
my
cool.
wife was on conference calls and my dog and my kids are home. So I just like, okay, I went and booked a room here in the library and nice and quiet, and at least hopefully not too loud yet, but should be good.
That's amazing. Hey, we appreciate the effort. That's probably the most any guest has done, so that's pretty cool.
Well, it's either that or take it from my truck, and I'm like, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But this is definitely a lot easier for sure.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah,
works.
the kids are at home as well, so they're just watching TV. So if
There you go.
if they barge into the room, all chaos may be released.
Hey, bring them in and have them ask some questions. It'd be good.
Yeah.
Jeff, you're in Calgary now, but take us back. Where were you born, and what was life like growing up?
So, born and raised in Ottawa, Ontario. Born in 1976. So the anything starts with a seven is now 1970s is old. But yeah, I have one brother. We're 13 months apart, and mom and dad, just the two of us. That's about it. So we were a pretty small family. Grew up. Big into sports. My dad, he he's in the Wrestling Hall of Fame, like the real wrestling, like Olympic wrestling.
Mm.
So sports were a really big part of our family and competing. And then from there, he the Olympics, and then got into judo and made the Olympic team for judo. Ended up played junior football, and after that was done, ended up playing a couple of years in the CFL as well. So, a lot of football on my father's side, a lot of sports on my father's side, and then my brother as well. Being like 13 months apart, we kind of did everything together. Everything was done together, and my parents ended up splitting when we were about 10. So, um, you know, with my brother being, we were so close, and pretty almost the same size stature and everything else, and um, kind of ended up kind of basically doing everything together, playing every single sport, school. We ended up going to university together, ended up playing in Calgary together. So again, the whole journey from small town in Ottawa. Well, Ottawa was
Hmm.
fairly small back then, and then kind of exploding onto the sports scene from there.
Yeah, no, pretty amazing. Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, hey? Like your dad sounds like an intense guy, but also like
Oh,
very well accomplished.
yeah, he very well. He's won Sportsman of the Year a few times for Canada, and done a lot of stuff in wrestling. He's won, yeah, just a lot of. He accomplished a lot. So,
Yeah.
but there's one thing about that, like he's a super intense dude. One of the probably the strongest men I've ever met in my life. Like naturally, just a freak. 290 pounds at 78 years old now, and ripped, like shredded. Like he just,
Wow.
for no reason, he'll just go and do like 2 hours worth of sit-ups just for the hell of it. Like it's straight. I'm not talking like this, but he just go do it just to do it. Yeah, but so we learned a lot, like, to compete and um, toughness is a thing that you have to kind of be molded into.
Mm.
I went from there, but yeah, I mean, having an older brother, that's 13 months older than you, and we competed a lot, and you can see my nose, the big bend on my nose is from from a brother, but you got brothers, siblings, and you fight and you learn and you push each other, and you grow up like that, and having a brother that really really wanted the best for you and really pushed. He's a big sports guy as well. I'm not a sports guy. Like, growing up, my parents, they were in sports and stuff, and but I'm not like, I love playing them, but I'm not a sports guy. Like, I'm not one of those guys that can, talk about sports all day long and all this other stuff. No, put me out and let me compete. And, I'd rather talk with you about how you spray oil into your car and how that stuff works, and figure that stuff out, talk about houses and old cars and stuff. And that to me is way more interesting than, talking about hockey or football and
Mm.
fun stuff. So, but yeah, kind of broad overview where it started from.
Yeah, awesome.
And then from there, growing up, we started with high school football, right? I mean, story was kind of, I really didn't really know what I wanted to do. Like, and I knew I liked sports. I knew I could do something. I could do it well. And my brother was the one who really wanted to get a scholarship. He really wanted to play football and really wanted to go somewhere. So at the time, my mom didn't have much money, and so we couldn't play a whole lot of community sports because they're expensive. And you got two boys that, 6'5", 6'6", and 200, whatever, 80 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever it was. And trying hard to find hockey equipment and equipment for these kids. And so we ended up playing just high school sports. And so he ended up buying a camcorder to record football. And we had a friend stand, or my mom was standing sideline and video it. And then ended up sending tapes out, and uh, make a long story short with that, like, I ended up going to a camp in Montreal, like a scouting camp. And then there was a whole bunch of Division I schools there, and um, I ended up getting into a few fights, like full on brawls, and kind of got me noticed. Like, so I really didn't know what to do, man. You go out and you can move somebody, you move them. Like, you're in my way, I'm gonna
Hmm.
get out of my way. Well,
Hmm.
this guy ended up becoming a center for Miami, and I ended up going to Syracuse. But I ended up fighting full on fight with him, and then I got labeled as this guy when they do the scouting report. They put it out. I'm meaner than a bag of rattlesnakes. So from there, then it kind of snowballed from there, and then from that camp, I got asked to go to Michigan, and then I won the best defensive lineman award out of Michigan, and there was 1,200 kids there, I guess it was, and then they offered me a scholarship right on the spot. They said, "Hey, we want you to Michigan." I was like, "Oh, cool. Oh, hey, cool." I didn't know. I'm just this dumb kid who just likes to, hit and play football. Okay, cool. I said, well, let me think about it. And at the time, my brother didn't quite get the same opportunity. He was down at a Division II school down in Pennsylvania, and played his first, from September to January. And then uh, so then my whole recruiting process was starting and figuring that stuff out, and ended up that a couple schools saw my brother on my highlight video and asked me who he was, and I was like, "Well, that's my brother." Like, he was down at Cal PA, and his quarterback and running back got shot right in front of him first day of school. you
Oh,
know,
wow.
like, he's
Wow.
walking up to the student union building, and guy comes out of a car and just starts shooting, shot his quarterback. And my brother's like, I'm this dumb white Canadian kid just walking around, and I hear, like, these shots go off, everybody's diving, and I'm standing there like, what's going on? And he's like, I
Jeez.
want it out. Yeah, he said, so I want it
Hmm.
out of there. And so I ended up signing with Michigan. I signed my letter of intent, and the day I was supposed to mail it out, Syracuse called and said, "Hey, We'll take your brother if you come to Syracuse. And I said, well, I don't want to play D lineman. Like all the schools were recruiting me to play defense. I said, I hate defense. I don't want to play offensive line. So Syracuse, yeah, not a problem. You'll play offensive line, not a problem. Get you and your brother. So I said, okay, cool. So I called up Lloyd Carr, who was the head coach and recruiter at Michigan, and this is where I'm going to swear. So and he said, I told him what was happening, and he told me to go fuck myself and hung up on me. So I'm like, oh, okay. He said, well, that's good. So I guess I'm going to the right school then. I got going to, I was the number one recruit coming out of Canada then, and I could have had a couple dozen schools to choose from, and
a couple dozen schools.
Yeah,
jeez. Okay.
Yeah, so
no big deal.
I was really lucky, and like there was an article that came out like so Notre Dame. I could have went to Notre Dame, and what really pissed me off was that Lou Holtz at the time said he didn't want to talk to recruits until you signed. So as soon as you signed with Notre Dame, because they were Notre Dame, Lou Holtz would give you the privilege of talking to you. Like if you can be an arrogant ass like that, why would I want a coach like that? Like I want a coach that's going to talk to me from day one, and not just because you think you're better than everybody. So Syracuse and then all the other ones were recruiting. I felt a lot better that way. And then we ended up going, because back in Ontario back then they had grade 13, right? Like you go to OAC in the grade 13. So I didn't end up going to grade 13. I just had to finish my grade 12, and then I went in January, started Syracuse in January. Then my brother ended up transferring over from Cal PA in January together, in January of 95. So we started together at Syracuse, which was awesome because Syracuse was literally to the dot 300 kilometers from my home in Ottawa to my front door of Syracuse. So my parents came to every game. We had, the dorms were actually townhouses. Our dorms were 2-story townhouses. So we had full-on townhouses. We had meal, all the food you can eat every time. It was great. Like it was a really good experience. And then had my brother there with me he was there for 4, I was there for 5 years. And then, so it was pretty cool. Like not too many people were able to say that. And then,
I want to stop you right there really quickly as well too, because that was a lot that you went through.
Yeah.
But I do want to say all of this is happening before you were 15 or 16.
No, I was 18, 17,
okay,
18,
so
17,
you're
18.
still you're underage.
Yeah.
All of this is happening. This is like crazy experiences. You're getting scouted. You have monster opportunities. You and your brother both are looking for these scholarships.
Yeah.
I just want to rewind just a second over here. Talk to us about that, like when your brother was recording the footage and stuff like that as well too. Walk us through how you guys were sending those out and some of those early moments of getting noticed.
Well, my brother's very resourceful. Like he'll find a way to get it done. And he ended up getting a hold of the AV club in high school, right? So this is back when he had VHS tapes, right? Like you had to go camcorder to a VHS tape or beta. So he ended up knew one of them in the AV club, and then being able to the video, and then show him how to edit. And then when you edit it, to able to put music to it and create, the theme and the AC/DC or the Metallica kind of, stuff going on. And then, did a whole kind of report through that. So they were able to help us out a lot with that, and then edit it. And then from there, there used to be able to buy a book that basically gave you every athletic director's contact, every football contact around. But during that time, we went to these camps. There was a guy named Ron Diaz who was doing a lot of these football, scouting camps, right? So from all the Canadian schools to as many US schools as he could, was trying to get as many kids seen. So he was doing these scouting camps. So then we'd give a video to Ron. Ron would pass them out to the universities, or we'd send them out. And that's kind of how it went. Like you had to be really proactive to get noticed, like to get out there. And this was when the whole recruiting process was just starting. Like not too many people knew what was going on. Like back in the 70s or back in the 60s, I guess was when my dad played. He had a chance to go to Texas. But that was also part of the CFL. The CFL was also doing like a joint venture with universities. They were kind of saying, hey, let the kid go to university, then we can bring them back up here and play. But we didn't have any of that. There was no these joint ventures or anything else. It was just go, hopefully get noticed, make a mark, and then kind of go from there. So, but I got to the point where I was getting so many phone calls at home. This is when we actually had landlines, and people were calling landlines and voicemails. I was missing so many calls because I was never home that I got a cell phone. Like I'm this kid in high school, and I had to go buy a cell phone, like the ones you pay by the minute. So like they would call home, or my mom would have it on the voicemail that, hey, if you're looking for me, just call my cell phone number. So like, the ones you pull the antenna up and so we had, so I was getting all these calls on my cell phone. I'm like, I was like some kind of drug dealer. Like back, you either get a pager or you had a cell phone. And I'm like, no, it's because I don't want to miss these recruiting calls, right? Like, so it kind of was pretty cool that way. But my brother had a lot to do with where I was going in sport, and then where that kind of drive went. Like I was kind of happy-go-lucky kid, and just hey, if things happen, things happen. And I don't know if I was telling you, but my guidance counselor at the time basically told me, she's like, hey, you better pick up a trade because you're going to be nothing. Like you're going to be a fucking idiot. That's exactly what she said to me. She's like, you're dumb. You need to figure something out. And I'm like, okay, cool. So that's a really good help, So again, back then you had to go to the US, you still have to take your SATs or ACTs, right? And you have to have a certain mark between your high school grade, mix the combination between your SATs to be able to be eligible to get into the US, to go through clearinghouse and get everything else. And man, my first time taking, because I'm also dyslexic as well, right? I'm severely dyslexic. So taking tests and stuff weren't my strong suit. I mean, you put me in front of something, I'll fix it. I'll do it. I can make something work. But you get me in front of a test or a computer, like, oh my God, like this is not working. So as soon as she told me that, I'm like, listen, you fucking bitch. I didn't say it to her, but in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna prove you wrong. Like you're gonna see what's gonna happen here. And then yeah, and then from there I again went to school, got my teaching degree, certified teacher, K through 12. Had a 2.7 or 2.6 GPA, which it's not the greatest, but it was good enough that got me through and got me to graduate. And so I do have my degree. And but yeah, there's things in life that you get challenged, and it depends on how you rise to it, right? And what you want to do in life. And
yeah,
we were always taught, like, you don't ever want to disappoint your family, right? Your family name means more than anything, right? So you can do anything you want in life, but that'll all go away. But your name at the end of the day is what you'll have with you no matter what. So I didn't want to be known as that guy who had the ability but just couldn't do it. So and we always wanted to live up to our name, like, because my brother and I were close. We did almost everything together. So we're always the Pilon brothers, right? The Pilon brothers here. And so you start putting that pressure on yourself that, hey, I got to live up to what we're doing here, like what life is. And it's a good pressure. It's pride. And I think that also directed me in life of where to go. Like there was two paths I could have went down, right? Like we had the first high school we went to was really bad. Like it had hookers and pimps, and we had a girl get chopped up and put in the back of her car. Like it was, yeah. Like
this is in
Ottawa.
Okay.
Ottawa, yeah, inner city Ottawa. Like it was all first generation Canadians, real tough. My mom taught there for 25 years or 30 years actually. And it was a real tough school. Like drugs were crazy. Like it was a bad school. So it could have went either way. My brother and I were like, no, we want out of this crap hole. We want to go. Like we want to do something with our lives, right?
Hmm.
And you see people who had so much talent in life and just couldn't get out of it, couldn't get out of what they wanted to do. So that saved me from a lot, just knowing I didn't want to disappoint, well, my mom and my brother, my dad, my especially my grandfather, right? You don't want to disappoint your family,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
I think that carried everybody a long way.
yeah, good for you because it could be pretty easy that you get discouraged as it relates to guidance counselors and
Oh yeah.
I guess you don't know what the situation is as well, right? Like as it relates to maybe they're not happy with their position in life and so it rolls downhill or whatever the case
I
may
think
be.
she's having a bad day or something, but it sparked a good fire under me. Like, and we're also raised like you don't live on excuses. Like there's always gonna be bumps in life, right? Like there's always, we have this. This is just a funny story, but talking to my kids, like we didn't have a color TV till I was 10 years old. Everybody had black and white TV, right? Like, and we didn't have a microwave till I was 11. And like you didn't have color TV. Like, so you just don't know. Like you just go through life and you do it and you make your own path in life. And if you live off excuses, oh, I hurt myself or I had this. Well, man, go sit on the couch and waste your life away. Like
Hmm.
there's
Hmm.
always bumps and bruises along the way. Like my senior year, I was projected a top 3 round draft pick. So, um, you know, pretty good opportunity in life. It ends up I got meningitis, so I ended up getting meningitis my senior year. Not to mention I've had a few shoulder surgeries and stuff on top of that, but I had meningitis my senior year. And for somebody who's put so much into sport and wanted, that was the dream of mine, is to play in the NFL. Like I still remember in grade 7 when the teacher asked me like what I want to do in life. I said, I want to play for the 49ers. I didn't. They're like, everybody laughed and whatever. Well, I didn't end up playing for the 49ers. I ended up small stint with the Jets, but um, you know, the day before the draft, I get called by Baltimore, and Baltimore says, "Okay, yeah, we're gonna draft you. Um, I'm gonna draft you in probably the 3rd round." And I said, "Okay, cool." And then just as we're hanging up, the guy goes, "Hey, how's your shoulder, by the way?" And so I had a really bad shoulder operation done. Like it was butchered. He butchered me so bad I couldn't touch my own ass afterwards. Like it was our team doctor butchered me. And I said, well, and I had a second one, and I said, it's coming along. It's I said, doesn't bother me. It's coming along. It's getting better. And I shouldn't have been honest, but I was. I should. Everything's good. I'm perfect. I'm good. I said, it's coming. It's not there yet, but it's coming. Long story short, I ended up going as a free agent to the Jets, but I had uh, probably about 5 or 6 other opportunities to go to different teams between
Hmm.
Cleveland and LA and um, San Diego and a few other places, and so that was a big kick, right? Like you you get kind of built up, and then um, you know things. I ended up making a practice squad in New York, and it's pretty good. But then, so Jumbo Elliott at the time he just retired. He had just retired from the Giants, and then the 2 other tackles both blew their knees out in training camp with the Jets, and so I was the only right tackle left in camp. I was the only guy. I'm doing for scout team. I'm doing first rep, second team rep. It was crazy, and it's 100 plus. Anyway, long story short, made the practice squad. Was there for a few weeks, and then I was done. And anyways, they ended up moving on from there. Then I went and I failed my physical in Buffalo. I failed my physical with the Giants, and then spent the next 10 seasons with the Stampeders.
Hmm.
So, and then that comes back to my brother. So my brother ended up he was Calgary's first overall pick in 1999. So he was a defensive lineman, came out of Syracuse as well, and then ended up, being Calgary's first overall pick. We played together for one season, I believe it was 1 or 2 seasons, and then he played a few other years. He played 6 years total, but between a bunch of different teams, and then so and then between all that, like you learn. Like I've had eight. During when I was playing, I've had 7 operations. I had two after I was done, one after I was done. So 8 operations. And everybody, you hear I had a concussion. Oh, I hurt my knee. Well, yeah, life's full of excuses, man. You could stop. You could lose your business. You can lose whatever. Anything happens. Go sit on your couch and cry. Well, man, like, how bad do you want it? Right? Like, how bad do you want to get on in life? Like, what do you want in life? So, after every operation, I tore my ACL in 2001. Usually it's almost a year recovery. I was back. I tore that in November. I was back playing without a brace in May. And then
which is pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then well, in university, my shoulder was so bad, they ended up strapping me. They wrapped my body and wrapped my arm, tied my arm completely around my torso to hold me in. So I could only move my arm like from my elbow. Because I could literally pull it out and dislocate it. It would sit on top of my shoulder. And they wouldn't listen to me. I'm like, man, it's shoulders. I can stick my finger through in my socket. Like, it's not good here. So I had 13 cortisone shots in a month. And the doctor, I said, listen, man, this isn't right. Like, I can't do this. Like, this isn't right. So they ended up sending me to a doctor in New York. He ended up looking at it, repairing it as best he can. And he's like, I've never seen a surgery like that before in my life. He's like, he did a whole bunch of surgery. And he's like, I've never seen like that in my life. So anyway, it was, you take it and you move on, and then you go from there. And then I ended up playing the first inaugural season, in the XFL, with New York, New Jersey Hitmen. It was just a few months season. I ended up tearing my left shoulder, when we were in Chicago in January. I actually tore my elbow and my shoulder at the same time, but I didn't do much with my elbow. I just tore my shoulder, and so I ended up getting that scoped and repaired. And it was kind of crappy, but that was January. I ended up coming back and playing back in May again at that as well. So there's always, again, going back to the whole excuses in life, man. You can live through life, and it's how you want. What you want to do in life? What do you want to accomplish? Who do you want to be?
This episode is brought to you by Bloom Benefits Group. Bloom Benefits is disrupting employee benefits by rethinking the status quo. They provide exceptional customer service while saving you money. Bloom offers group benefits and retirement products, health and wellness accounts, executive benefits, life insurance, and disability and critical illness. Available to companies across Canada, Bloom helps clients save money without interrupting current plans. Check them out at bluebenefits.ca.
Young professionals, families, and entrepreneurs. What makes Zelos Investment Counsel different? Our independence, client focus, and access. Zelos Investment Counsel is independent from banks and brokerages, which ensures clients' best interests are served without corporate conflicts. We are fiduciary portfolio managers with a duty to clients that doesn't exist in the brokerage model. At Zelos Investment Counsel, we exist to care for our clients, and every day we strive to help our clients reach their goals. We provide our clients with access to institutional investment managers and sector specialists through our proprietary investment structure. For more information, book your no-obligation meeting today at zelosglobal.com. That's www.zelosglobal.com.
Attention all car owners. Is the winter weather turning your beloved ride into a rusty relic? Fear not, because we've got the solution you've been dreaming of: Crown Rust Protection. Picture this: your car defying the elements, standing strong against rust like a knight in shining armor. Crown Rust Protection is not just a shield, it's an investment in the longevity and resale value of your vehicle. Don't let rust take the wheel. Book your Crown Rust Protection treatment today and let your car embrace its inner superhero. Call now at 291-1951 or book your appointment at www.krown.com. Our skilled technicians are ready to give your car the VIP treatment it deserves. Crown Rust Protection, because your car deserves to age like fine wine, not rusty vinegar. And a question for you as well, too, Jeff. Like, while you're going through all this, when you're going from team to team and trying to find your fit, is it like, you said early on your brother had a big part to play in your success with the videotaping and stuff like that as well, too. I'm assuming by this point, like, you have an agent that's kind of like finding opportunities for you. Like, how does that work when you go from league to league or, joining Vince McMahon at XFL?
Yeah, you do have an agent. Agent does do a few things. And then also, so I missed a whole section of being able going down to Georgia. I was down there in Georgia for over a month preparing for the draft and training with all, Brian Urlacher. I don't know if you know Brian Urlacher. He was there, and a bunch of whole walkload of NFL first round draft pick guys were there training. And then so you do a bunch of that, and then you get your agent kind of helps you hook that side up of it, who to talk to. And they're also passing out videos and doing kind of laying some groundwork of who you are. But most of these guys have a good idea of the scouting because they come and watch you at practice. They watch your games. They know your whole history. They talk to your high school coaches. They talk to your family. They dot their I's and cross their T's really well. And so, that was it. And it's funny, by the time I got to the CFL, I didn't really need an agent anymore. I kind of knew where I was going to be. And my brother ended up negotiating one of my contracts for me. And, because I didn't want to. My brother just left Calgary, and he knew Wally pretty good. And we started getting, Wally was very personal. He got personal with you. Like, if he knew you lived in town, you were screwed. Like, you weren't getting a good contract. Like, he was going to take as much money from you as he could. And my brother didn't care. My brother was like, "Fuck you! Like, we're gonna you're gonna treat him right," which was pretty good. So I ended up getting pretty good contracts. It was, the highest paid lineman in the league, and
nice.
Kind of stuff for a while.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little things in life that you learn, and you learn personalities, you learn people, and you meet people. And going back from you go from Ottawa on this little white kid, right? It's like, oh, okay, cool. You play in front of 100 people at your high school, to talking to guys who've playing in Florida and Georgia and Texas, playing in front of 15, 20,000 people. And you got other guys coming from PA, from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, who are literally raising their brothers. Like, they have physical custody of their 15, 16-year-old brothers, and they're 18 years old, right?
Yeah.
So you got guys who literally have nothing, that this is their life. So, when you're competing against guys that grew up with nothing, have a chance to get something, there's some animals, man. Like, we had guys that literally came out of juvenile penitentiaries. Right, like, we had these guys coming out of juvenile penitentiaries that were on our team. So you learn all these different stories, and you learn how to accommodate, like, what you're doing and how to interact and how to compete, like how to compete with these guys, like, because there's a different give a shit level, right? Like, it's very military, very precise. Like, from the time we woke up in university, you were scheduled. I mean, like, we had to be at a dining hall. We had 3 dining halls to go to. You had to be at one of the 3 dining halls before 9 a.m. every day, no matter what. Absolutely, no matter what. It didn't matter what class you were. We had to be taped, ready, have your lift done in a meeting room before 2 p.m. every day. So, you had to get your class done. And then, so basically from 2 o'clock until 5, we had practice and video. And then you had to go to study hall after that. So you weren't home till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock every night. So that was for 5 years straight. And we also had one of our TAs, like our teacher assistants, would follow everybody to class, and they'd make sure you were in class. They would come in, didn't matter how big your auditorium was, didn't matter where you were. They were literally standing there and check off and make sure you were in class. We're talking a big university, right? They'd go to every single guy. We had 100 and whatever guys in our team. So by the time you had 100 guys in there and the following class, and you didn't go to class, and you were running until you puked, and until your GPA was high enough that they knew you could afford to miss and do a few things. But man, it was strict. Like you walked into our building, hats off, earrings off, clean shaven. Like you couldn't have you had clean shaven. You couldn't have long hair. If you had long hair, you weren't playing. If you had a dirty face, you weren't playing. Like it was very strict, very regimented. You cleaned up after yourself. It was, you learn a lot of life lessons on how to respect people. And when you're talking, you're talking to the person, right? And you, it was, it was tough. I mean, we were minimum of 40 hours a week of football, right? So that was NCAA had a rule that you can only do 40 hours a week. Well, we were way over 40 hours, and we had to have a minimum of 15 credit hours a week for football, right? So that's 55 hours minimum, right? So just the bare minimum that you have to do. It doesn't include lifting weights, doesn't include watching extra film, that doesn't include anything. So when you're 19 to 20, whatever years old, you're doing a 60-hour week, right? And then we also didn't have an off season. Like a lot of schools would let you have less hours during your season and take a summer school class. Well, we weren't allowed to do that. You could only take summer school if you were failing, or if you needed to, or if there was a conflict between practice. So, in that case, then they said, okay, well, we're going to get everybody jobs. So everybody had to stay on campus. I had 2 weeks off a year. That was it. 2 weeks off. And so you would go, they would find you, man. My first job I was working, we were movers. Myself, my brother, Donovan McNabb, Randy Swanson, and Kevin Johnson. We ended up, we were taking all the old beds and whatnot out of Colgate University. So we moved all of Colgate University out. So it was like 100 plus degrees. The alarms were going off in these dorms. It was so hot. It was crazy. And then you work all day, and then you got a 3-hour lift to go to get a run, and you got a lift after that. So you had to be at the facility by 5 p.m. No later than 5 p.m. every day. So we had to get back from Colgate to Syracuse to work out. Then you got to go eat, and then you got to do the whole thing all over again.
Who the hell got you that job? They weren't thinking.
No. All the young kids got the crappy jobs. Then as you get older, then you start getting into like office jobs. They had one. I literally walked around the office all day and just filed. I put papers in files all day long. Guys worked for UPS. My last year, I was a Keebler. I was a Keebler cookie rep. So I had to. I was a Keebler elf, right?
You're a big elf.
So I literally had to drive around all upstate New York and stock freaking Keebler cookies. So then you got to get back to work and practice, and so then you had 2 weeks off a year, right? That was it. At the end of the summer, you had 2 weeks off, and then you get home, you still have to work out and still be in shape, and then get back to for training camp. So
that's
and
crazy.
then Christmas time, we went to 5 bowl games. So over those bowl games, you would leave either Christmas Day or day after Christmas. So you never had, time off. There was never time off. It was like a full on, and it was scheduled. Like everything, the hardest part about life after football was getting used to normal life, where I had a choice. Do I have to wake up right now? Like, do I have to, and getting up in the morning or doing whatever I wanted to do? Because it's even after playing the CFL for so long, you're scheduled, like you're regimented, like it's boom, boom, boom. And that was one of the hardest things to get used to, of getting out of that routine, right? Things can kind of be different. And then the second hardest thing was being around unmotivated people, right? Like you're around
high performers, right? Like,
well, in football, it doesn't matter. Everybody hates each other, right? Like you can get along with them, but you're fighting and you're playing, you're beating the shit out of each other. There's never like you got friends, right? You have good buddies and everything else, but not everybody has the same goal. Like not everybody, you're partying, you're doing whatever you're doing, but at the end of the day, you all want to win a Grey Cup, you want to win a Super Bowl, you want to win a championship, you want to win something, right? At the end of the day, that's the main goal. And everybody wants that. But in life, it's the woe is me. I say, oh, I worked an extra hour today. Like, oh, I worked too much. Oh, I got to get here. Or this guy's talking. Everybody wants to talk shit about everybody else, right? It's always this like, oh, it's this attitude of, oh, why, bitter. Man, shut up and do your job. Like, shut up and do your job. Like, you're getting paid. You're getting paid to do something. So fucking do it. Like, so at the end of the day, that was the hardest thing for me to understand is like, I got paid really well for 4.5 hours a day. That was the CFL group. Limit was 4.5 hours a day.
Yeah.
And they were paying me to do something that I love doing. So why would I complain or not want to do it? Like, it's like a job. If you don't get a job, find something else to do. Like, go find something else to do. Like, so just shut up, do your job, you're getting paid. You're not getting paid? Okay, you have something to talk about. But still, even then, figure it out. Like, there's always somebody that's going to be the bitching, complaining, the world's ending, the one that sucks the life out of you. And those are the ones you need to get away from. Like, those are the ones that take your drive and your mentality of get the fuck out of my way, I'm getting the job done, to, man, I got to deal with you again. Like, just move out of just move on, right? Like, and again, those were the hardest parts of real world life, and being able to get that. And once I finished with the stamps, it was fortunate but unfortunate. Was able to get involved in oil and gas and be part of a drilling company and do some pretty cool things up north. And so I hired all teammates. All the guys that worked for me were all teammates. So I knew them all. I knew exactly their mindset. I knew how they worked. I knew how ethical they were. I knew everything that they could do. And that made transition so much easier. But then you mix a bunch of guys with high performance or that higher mentality of get it done to a bunch of blue collar. It's a hard mix, right?
Yeah.
So, it took a bit to get used to but it was good. It was a really neat transition.
What was I'll kind of double click on the CFL experience a little bit, because that was, you obviously spent a lot of time there. At the time, you mentioned your brother was just leaving Calgary, helping you negotiate the contract, and like what was the composition of the guys and the team when you first started, and then throughout time, like how did that change? And then inevitably, I think at one point you were kind of one of the younger guys, then you're one of the older guys and that sort of thing, right? So
like the mentality was here, like it was just at that verge of becoming a softer league. Like, I don't like watching football anymore because it's too soft. Like, it was then, like, we also went through wicked transitions from when Wally left to Matt Dunnigan to Tom to a bunch of different head coaches, right? Barker. And so we had a lot of personalities and a lot of overcome, because when you had Wally, you had the tradition from what football was then. To me, this young kid who coming in from, just got cut from the NFL and came from a pretty high performance college background, and everything we did was full speed all the time. Like, it was full speed, and if you're not going full speed, you're kicked out. To coming to where the CFL, where there was a lot of older guys that didn't like that. They didn't like that because, and then again, as I got older, I realized, like, man, your longevity is how you can take care of your body. And you got this young little puke just not stopping, like just being an ass, but not really. Like, you're trying to get better, but it just becomes this non-stop, like, God. And at the end of the day, your paycheck is on how can you keep playing, right? Like, how can you keep playing? And so I was the youngest guy, and we had a mentality of, you don't want to let down the guy beside you. So we had a bunch of old guys that literally played a lot of games, that didn't miss games unless something was really bad. Like, we had center, as much as I don't like what was going on, personnel. Anyway, he tore both his pecs off. Went to Saskatchewan, at home, Saskatchewan, ripped his pec right off. Boom.
Jeez.
Exploded. Still finished the game, played the game. Next week, ripped the other pec off. Boom. Exploded. Arm the size of a freaking thigh, black and blue, still played. So that set the tone for what we had to accomplish, right? So at the end of the day, I ended up, my last 5 years in my career, I ended up freezing both my shoulders and freezing both my knees to play. Because as crappy as this game is, there's always somebody going to take your spot. Every day, somebody's trying to take your spot. So if you don't perform, you don't play, you don't execute what you're going to do, you are going to be cut, or somebody's going to take your spot. They're going to start trying to bring somebody in to take your spot. Like, it was every day. Like, everybody's so soft. You get yelled. Your boss brings you in and asks you to maybe step it up a bit. Well, literally after every game or every practice, you sit down on video and the coach tells you how shitty you are, or how, you screwed this up, you screwed this up, you screwed this up. Right. So life, that hardens you pretty good for life when you're talking with a boss or talking with somebody else, like how that happens. And then so from there, it just sets a tone of, you don't want to let down the guy beside you. Right. Like, if I see this guy playing through some pain, well, why my little pain doesn't matter? Like, we were Winnipeg, and Derek Armstrong, preseason game, running a play, and boom, he gets rolled up. It snaps his ankle beside me. His ankle's turned the opposite way, right? Like, it's 90 degrees the opposite way. As he goes, holy shit, that hurts. Yeah, man, your legs turn the other way. And he gets up and starts walking off the field. He was right on the numbers, right? So it's about 15 yards to get off the field. It's like, buddy, man, you gotta sit down. No, I'm up, sitting on this fucking field. Right? But that was the mentality we had, is it didn't matter. Like, you're doing it for your brother, you're doing it for the guy beside you. And you had a goal of getting in, just to get to that point where you don't want to let anybody down. And in 10 years, I missed 6 games. That was because my knee was physically, I couldn't bend it. It was 90-degree locked. I physically couldn't open my leg anymore. So it just wasn't worth trying to push another 6 games for me to play through that. So I had to get it scoped and opened up. So, but it's just a mentality of when you've got guys around you that all want to do the same thing, and they're going to sacrifice for you. Well, that sets a tone for what's demanded, right? Like,
I have to ask though too, Jeff. Like, that sounds very like camaraderie, like, and very military-esque, and like, yeah, I will fight my brother. The guy's got his ankle turned sideways and he's walking off. Like, that sounds insane to me. First of all, it sounds like, oh my God, right? Like, what are you guys doing? But do you think that you say the league got soft, but throughout the years you have a lot more concussion type of like technology that comes out? There's been a lot of different studies on like PTSD from like head trauma and stuff like that as well too. Do you think that like that culture of what football used to be was the safest for people's longevity in life after, considering when you look at an NFL career or a CFL career, what's like the average is like 5 to 7 years or something like that?
3.
So 3 years you play your ass off, you're getting hit, you're doing all these wild things. How many people, I'm sure go through life after that with like tons of injuries that are just like, wow, I pushed it to the limit and now I'm going to live with it for the rest of my life, versus
I played the last 2 years. I played the last 2 years of my career with a broken back.
Yeah.
Right. So I go every year to Toronto to do, I'm part of the National Concussion Study. I just spent last month I was in Toronto in a CT scan. A CT scan for 2 hours, and I can show you some really wicked pictures. And then I was in the MRI machine for 2 hours. They do skin grafts. They do a bunch of blood testing, blood work. I've been doing that for 10 years now. But if you're dumb enough to join a sport where 300-pound men hit each other and expect not to get hurt, you deserve to get fucking hurt. Like, that's just plain stupidity to me, is that if you're going to play a contact sport and you don't think you're going to get hurt, or you don't think you're going to get hit, or anything's going to happen to you, man, you deserve to get your ass beat. Like, it's a game of violence. It's a game where men are there to hit each other and hurt each other to a certain extent, right? Like, my job was to fight for 60 plays and dominate the guy in front of me, or him dominate me, right? That's the goal of football, of in the trenches. I don't care about the frilly guys who run and do their thing, but you know, now you can't cut block, you can't hit the quarterback, can't touch the quarterback. You wear these big things on your head that just are awful. But again, all that said, technology has come a long way. Like, I was the last person. We had all kinds of opportunities. So our stamps were amazing. We had Pat Clayton, was way back, right? We're doing, he had sensors in the helmet to see how hard you're getting hit, right? So he could tell right away. Like, we had guys on the team that was all trial. We were doing all kinds of these, concussion trials and impact trials. So we'd have them on the helmet to see how much you're getting hit and where you're getting hit. It could tell you. And I'm like, man, screw that shit. I want my old helmet. I had 5 pairs of shoes I wore for 10 years. That's it. And I had my old helmet. They would get it reconditioned every year, but you're not changing my helmet. I had the same pads I had for 10 years. Like, they're little, that was it. But I mean, I was extreme, but that's what worked for me. And I've had more concussions than I can count. Like, and there's things I don't know if I would change. Like, I wouldn't change what I did. I'd be more aware of what was happening. I think I would be more knowledgeable of what was happening. But again, I hate excuses. Like, growing up when I was a kid, when a kid walked up to me or somebody said, "Hey, I could have done what you did, but I blew my knee out." Right? The big thing back in the day was, "Oh, I hurt my knee. I hurt my knee." Fuck you! You hurt your knee. You're just a bitch. You want an out, and you want to go and tell all your friends you could have done that, but you couldn't. You couldn't power through it. You couldn't do it. Right? Like, that to me is more insulting than slapping me in the face. Right? "Oh, I hurt my knee. I could have done that." No, you couldn't have. So then that whole escape route went to concussions. So concussions now are really hard to tell, right? The only true way you can tell that how you've had a concussion is through your hormone level. So your hormone levels change. Like, you can bonk your head and everybody's calling it concussion. Or you can call it, yes, your brain shifts inside, matters, it hurts. I get it. Until you're puking, until you got snot bubbles, until you shit yourself, like, literally, you just got a little bump on your head. But there are side effects. I've seen guys with brain juices dripping out their ears, right? Like, and there's a time and a place for everything. But I don't like an out, right? Like, it's an out that I could pass and fail the concussion exam right now, just because the questions you ask. And it's hilarious. Like, you're like, okay, what day is it? Where are you? Your name, your birthday, like the same shit. Everybody knows it, right? And that's the same stuff. Okay, well, here, give me a blood test. Because as soon as you have a blood test, the University of Calgary is creating a spinner. It's basically the size of a CD-ROM as part of the study, and you drop some blood on it, they can spin it. And as soon as you get hit, your hormone levels change. So growth hormone, testosterone change. And that's the only legit way to tell what type, if you've had a concussion or not. But again, I'm to the extreme. I'm different. I know that. To me, it's nobody's business. And like, unless I'm puking and walking over, you're not going to touch me. You're going to get away from me. Don't go near me. I'll tell you when I'm hurt. But again, it's a different mentality. Like, I didn't want to let anybody down. I didn't want to miss my opportunity. And again, it came down to, I'm getting paid. You're paying me to do a job. Like, I'll deal with it later. Like, my shoulders, my knees, my back. Like, I loved what I did, and I loved my teammates so much. It didn't matter to me. Like, that didn't matter. And same with the group of guys that we were with. Like, it didn't matter, because we were there doing the same thing. Like, now it's just hard. it's hard to maintain a roster. It's hard to maintain a team when you're constantly rotating through people because you got a little pinky nail. Like my fingers are all dislocated and messed up, right? Like you have a guy, I caught my pinky, it ripped my tendon through my hand. You don't miss a play because of that. Like that's just ridiculous. But now, like I also coach, and the excuses and the mentality of life is the woe is me. Like when you go and you have a real life experience in your work, you're having a bad month at work, right? Guys aren't showing, cars aren't coming in the door. What are you gonna do? Close it up? No, you're gonna start promoting it. You're gonna reach out. You're gonna talk. You're gonna try and fight to get more money. Well, now this mentality of these kids is like, oh yeah, it's okay. I'll just do something. I'll move on. Like whoa, wine. Like no, man, everything's handed to you. Everything's there. Like you gotta, if you want it, you go get it. Like, and like, it gets me fired up that life is so easy in sport now that like your out is that you can get hurt. Like if I get like the biggest saying was you can't make the club in the tub. Means you can't make the club if you're hurt, right? If you're in the cold tub, if you're hurt. If you said that now, you're getting sued. Well, how are you supposed to find a man who's man enough to step up and play? Who's man enough to battle the guy in front of you, right? Like I want a guy who's willing to pull it. I mean, if you're a fancy receiver and you got to run a hamstring and you hurt your hamstring, okay, I get it. Like that's a bit different than a big fat guy pushing a guy around. But still, like it's still. It's what are you willing to sacrifice for the guys beside you? Like, what are you willing to sacrifice for your business, right? Your family time, your life. What are you willing to sacrifice to get to your goal? If you're not willing to make those sacrifices, don't fucking play. Don't put your feet in. Don't come in business. Don't do it. Because if you're not willing to make the sacrifice and you want it handed to you, fuck off. Like straight up. Like that is the biggest pet peeve again in life is that it's handed to me. I want it. No, man, like sacrifice, and it'll come to you. But again, it's a different mentality. Like I said before, you can't cut block, you can't hit a quarterback, you can't punch anybody, you can't look at a guy face to face and tell him to fuck off anymore. Like you get a flag. There's no violence. There's no line to be drawn, and you step over that line, you're gonna have a consequence. There's no consequence for that anymore, other than soft players. So
yeah, it seems like you've taken a lot of learnings and your mentality and philosophy from sport and football into your post-football career as well. Is that kind of a fair saying? Like you kind of view business and other things a similar way from a philosophical perspective.
Like after football, I got into the oil and gas side of it, and you find out who your true friends are and who people really are when things go sideways. And then from there, I mean, when I was playing, I was always trying to find a way to better myself and better the equipment, better things. So I actually I had football gloves made over in Pakistan. I wanted to have more gloves. I wanted better gloves. So I designed and imported a bunch of gloves. When I was training down in Georgia, I had these really cool. Now it was like the bungee stuff between your shackles for your legs, and so there's a lot of stuff down there. I said, well, we don't have that in Canada, so I started designing and actually manufacturing my own for speed, for endurance, for quickness, for explosive. And then, I started a lacrosse manufacturing business. So we designed and manufactured and patented sports equipment. And because I couldn't find what I wanted for my kids, and what I could find was crap, I was like, well, why am I going to spend all this money? I can just make it. I can make it better, and I can do it better. So I ended up hiring a designer, hired an engineer. We ended up being the number one lacrosse supplier from Western Canada, based from Manitoba on, and then COVID hit and shut our factory down. But that's been my mentality is, well, there's always a way to do it better. And why am I going to sacrifice the ability to have something better and to better a product to everybody? It's a wheel. Well, yeah, how do you make that wheel bigger or better or stronger or tougher, or implement something that can help the next person? And so we designed shoulder pads, neck guards that had a bunch of different full carbonate sticks that all different textures and different feels that nobody else did. And it's taking the simplest of things and thinking outside the box and creating it and wanting it, right? And wanting to do better. And it's the same in real estate now, like top 50 in Canada. But it's how do you do that? Like what do you do that's different than the next person? Like anybody can be a real estate agent. Like it's not rocket science. But when you walk in and like, oh, look at the paint. Well, no, like it's not about paint. It's about what's behind the paint, behind the wall. Like what's the structure like? What do you, when you walk in, how are you looking? Like how you teach, like what is that? Why is that wall tilted? Why? Like asking the whys and hows and understanding what building is, right? Understanding why that building is that way or why things are done that way can create a trust and create a bond and create something that people understand, that like when you talk, you actually know your shit, right? Like, as I said earlier, like I've never been the smartest guy, definitely not the smartest guy, but I know a lot about a little, or a little bit a lot, or whatever, however that saying goes. And that enough that you can start the conversation and you learn and you learn and you learn, and you're always constantly learning. You're constantly putting yourself in a situation where you can absorb something from somebody, which will create that knowledge that you eventually at the end of it, you get trust. And when you know when you walk into a business meeting or you walk into like a real estate business or anything else, and what you say is fact and you say means something, people understand it. People will bond to that rather than, and there's a used car salesman anywhere. Everybody's trying to sell you something, right? But you can see through bullshit. Like it's and I tell our clients this: I don't need your money. I don't want your money. I want your trust, and I want you to believe in everything that's going to happen. And when that's from day one. And when I created my lacrosse stuff, I was selling it less in the market because I wanted people to have that ability to own a good product. Like it didn't matter to me that I just mattered that I cover my cost. Other than that, I wanted kids to have the best. And the same thing in like real estate or in oil and gas business. It's, man, your name means everything to you. At the end of the day, if you can't look the customer in front of you and say, hey, this is the fact, this is the truth, and they can believe that, and if they go, because with Google and everything else now, you can research it, and they think you're bullshitting them, man, you just lost it, and that your name goes viral, right? So there's a lot in life, going back to the beginning of how hard you want to work and where do you want to put your name. Like at the end of the day, where's your name value? What value to put on your name? You can put on a product, you can put it else, but if I'm going to sell somebody a bag of shit, well, I don't want my name on that, right? Like I don't want that. I'll rather lose money and keep my name than make money and hurt my name. But it's putting yourself around people like that and putting yourself in a situation to grow up and to learn and to be that guy, to be able to do that, have the confidence in yourself. At the end of the day, you have to bet on yourself, right? Like you have to bet on yourself. And that support system and being able to bet on the end of the day is that you're going to get it done. Yeah, it's hard. You're going to fail. You're going to have all the other shit that goes wrong with it. But at the end of the day, you damn well bet on yourself first. And you better believe yourself at the end of the day is that it's going to happen. Otherwise, as going back to the whole concussion thing and the heads, I believe I was invincible. Like when you put that helmet on, I'm invincible. Like pain doesn't matter. And I was told that from the time I was a kid, like pain's an excuse. Pain doesn't matter. Right. So like if you want out, there's pain. There's always going to be pain. So then you answer that pain bell and you'll be able to leave. But if you don't want to answer the pain bell, then man, you can go. You can do whatever you want. It's the same in life. Like for a business, there's always a way to get it done. You just got to figure it out. So yeah, a lot of.
I mean, your mindset is like bulletproof. and it sounds like it's been calloused as well through a lot of things, and you've got that done. But going back to your childhood and having such a high performer dad, we didn't even get into your mom, but we're almost out of
Yeah.
time here as well too. But like
No,
for
my mom is the best mom in the world. Like
your,
she's a teacher. She won a bunch of teacher awards for inner city kids. My mom never played a sport in her life. I don't think she could. My mom, she couldn't play a sport, but she is the best cook. She'll take care of a kid. She won. I said she won being working this inner city school thing. She is. I could. My brother and I could not do a thing in Ottawa without my mom knowing before us. Like my mom would literally, I had a call last year from some lady my mom taught back in seventh grade, right? And I'm 50, and this is my mom's also, she's older than me. Somehow found me, called me just to talk about my mom, right? And what she did for her growing up when she had nothing. Like my mom brought lunch in for these kids every day. Like our own home had made lunch and made for these kids and set a precedent that these kids had somewhere safe to be and something to do. So that's kind of where we were brought up is like, you earn respect, you earn it. It's not given. And when you respect kids who've had a hard thing in life, they'll give you everything, right? So that's kind of my mom in a nutshell, is that she'll literally give you anything you respect her, she will do anything and everything for you and help you no matter what. Like that's the biggest part, is that there's always somebody there for you no matter what. Yeah.
It's kind of like that perfect combo at
Yeah.
home as well too. And you said
Yeah.
yourself when we met last time as well, it's like your kids are playing high level sports now as well.
Yeah.
And you growing up, when you're being told things like the family name and integrity and kind of all those things, and your dad as a judo champion and former like football player, and even yourself now as well too, like two-time Grey Cup champion. You're
Yeah.
on the All-Star team, like you played the XFL, you've done all these things. You were in the NFL. How much of that now is getting pushed on to your kids in terms of like the family legacy of
Zero.
moving forward? Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask you. Like, do you turn
Zero.
that around? Like, what is that going forward?
The only thing we hold our my wife is also very accomplished. Like so she went to Olympic trials for swimming. We actually met at Syracuse. She's a swimmer at Syracuse. Her and her sister, both Team Canada swimmers, so very high level, high dedicated. Um, we don't force our kids to do anything in sports. It's if you're going to do it, you're going to do it as best and as hard as you can. Like I don't care if you play ping pong, if you play tennis, if you play hockey, what you're going to do, and if you're going to commit, you're going to practice. I don't care if you're sick, hurt, whatever. Unless you're puking and you're going to get everybody else sick, you're going to practice and you're going to work. Um, so that's kind of it. I mean, my son is a goalie in the like WHL, and my daughter was a team captain here for her U18 double A team, and so kids they're they're held accountable for their actions of what they do. It's effort. If you're going to take the time to come from the house, or parents or anybody can take to get there, you damn well better show up at practice. Like you're gonna practice your ass off and you're gonna work and you're gonna learn. Like you're not just gonna show up and count stars. You're gonna go and you're gonna be attentive. You're gonna learn. You're gonna be respectful, and that's what's gonna happen. Um, and I think my kids are very good at that. My daughter is a team captain and they just lost in provincials this year, so did well. And my son goalie in Victoria this year and was very very well respected goalie. And it's life. Like again, they understand that what you put in is what you get out. And we don't have I don't have like I got some of my rings. Like I got these things. They're sitting in a drawer, but I don't have jerseys anywhere. I don't have helmets anywhere. I don't have pictures anywhere. We don't have um or my wife's medals. She's got all kinds of these Team Canada medals. We don't have them anywhere in the house. We have nothing um in the house like that. It's it's the kid's own drive to do that. We'll support them. I mean, man, hockey, you gotta hockey's expensive, but so you gotta support them that way and support them emotionally. And my wife's been the team manager for the past few years for my daughter's team, and just trying to support that way. Um, but we stay out of it. Like we stay out of, most of the parents call me the ghost because I come in, I watch, I leave because I don't, and I don't want to, it's about the kids. It's about them enjoying the moment, right? Because this little small bit of time in their life goes by really fast. So you need to enjoy every time you go out, and you need to be able to take that moment and get better. You know, we hold the kids pretty accountable to doing that. Like it's, hey, if you're in practice, like the game is the game. The game is something's going to happen. It's going to happen. Whatever happens, happens. If you want to talk about it, you talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it, we don't talk about it. Like, but you better show up at practice. That's where you get better. If you don't friggin' show up at practice, we'll have a chat. Like that's where you earn the respect, is at practice. So yeah. But so that's yeah, a lot of different ways and visions and things, and a lot of stuff in life you learn from sports, just different ways of doing things, and yeah, it's been a pretty cool journey.
Yeah, amazing. Well, really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. I mean, it was fascinating to hear the stories and all the things that you've done in sport and post-sport and everything like that, and all the lessons learned along the way.
Yeah.
Wanted to give you the opportunity to talk to our audience in terms of if there's any ways that people can find out more information, get connected, any causes or websites or anything that you want to point attention to. The floor is yours.
I'm here to talk about you guys and enjoy. That stuff can come later. They can Google me, and I'm here to enjoy you. I don't want to promote. I'm not about promoting myself and promote myself. We're here to enjoy life and chat about the good old days. And I'm just honored that somebody would even talk to a retired fat old offensive lineman, a guy that's kind of washed up has been. And but a thing in life that young athletes should understand is that don't be bigger than the moment, because that moment goes away really quick. It really goes away quick. So everybody's oh, I'm this, I'm that. Yeah. Guess what? As soon as you stop, you're nothing. You become a nobody really quick. So don't ever put yourself above that person that wants to shake your hand, that person or that next teammate, because it goes away really fast. So yeah.
Thank you so much. I think we could talk to you all day, man. Like you've got a ton of wisdom. We didn't even touch in on your diet, which I was like super excited about as well, because I remember that
13,000 calories. 13,000 calories when I was playing. I was eating real quick. 13,000 calories was kind of the average, between 10 and 13. I was eating a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts with the glaze on them, each at 300 calories a piece, on the way to practice, on the way back from practice, just to maintain. At my heaviest, I was 330, 329, and I played on average about 315. But that was kind of my average. And then really quick, Hank would take us to Smugglers, and the biggest piece of steak I ever had, a 62-ounce piece of prime rib. So we had a Smuggler Fest, offense lineman would eat. And so that's soup, salad, dessert, drinks, mushrooms and onions, and then a 62-ounce piece of prime rib. And well, it was awful. It was the best 62-ounce piece of prime rib I've ever had. Like, it's cooked, and then you come out and you're like dying because you just ate 7-8 pounds. You had 5 pounds of meat plus however amount. So whatever you ate, I had to eat. And then you ate the fat, I'd eat the fat. You ate ice cream, I'd eat ice cream. So we matched each other. And that's what it was. And then you had a shot, I'd have a shot. It was dumb. And then, being celiac now, I'm full blown celiac. So it sucks. Like, one guy from eating that many donuts to, oh, I'd love to have some carbs today, or, but it's my gluten-free shoe leather bread, which is disgusting, but so yeah, man, it was just a lot. It was a job to eat. It was a 24/7 job.
Yeah. Well, I'm just curious, like, obviously, like, a lot has changed, but you talked about how much you were, like, how much you walked around at before. Like, what's that look like these days?
I'm about 285 right now. give or take. After being sick for a while, maybe a bit less, but usually about that 285 range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still a big guy. I wouldn't want to get in a fight with you. So
now with my joints the way they are, I don't know. I'm not as you learn to calm down a lot as you get older, and your things don't quite move as they should. So you learn a lot. But yeah, about right around there, that 280, 285-ish range. So
yeah, cool. Yeah, appreciate
it's
it.
been an honor. It's been fun, and anytime I'm more than happy to spew about some old fun kind of memories of these old bowl games and stuff. They're pretty cool. You learn a lot about different things and how life has changed, and yeah, it's been an honor. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It's our pleasure. And I get so much out of talking to former athletes, and some of my favorite movies that I get a ton out of as well too is watching people overcome, whether it's sports or boxing or whatever. All these different inspirational things, as it is about camaraderie. It's about it's overcoming as well too, as a team, as a person, and all the learnings, and then coming back full circle of how you can pay it forward to the community. So it is really cool. I think football itself, I'm not a huge football fan right now, but when I do watch the games, it's really crazy to see massive people smash each other. It is the true gladiator sport. And the fact that you did it this long and you're still walking around and doing your thing, it's pretty impressive.
I walk as little as I can now, which is not always the best, but my wife gets on me a bit about it. But it's fun, it's awesome. It's done a lot for a lot of people. It can do a lot more for a lot of people. A lot of young kids. That's a lot of structure. I mean, sports in general. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You commit to it. You're committed, and it does do a lot in life, and it shows how committed you are. And when you're hiring somebody and you want to know what kind of person that is, right? What do they do in sport? What kind of sport do they do? How long do they do it? What have they done in life? That those right there are character builders, and people you want on your team, people you want around you. As a business guy, you want to have good people, and you want to have somebody who's going to have your back all the time, no matter what. Well, usually athletes are pretty close to that. So, but anyway.
Have enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully you feel better.
Good,
yeah, we'll see you in the shop sometime soon.
Yes, for sure, in the spring, for sure. Awesome. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
Bye now.
Thanks.
Thank you again for joining us for another episode of Between Two Dots by Intention Media. This podcast is co-hosted by myself, Gilbert Bong, and Hafiz Mita. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate and review wherever you listen.